It being almost 4 o'clock on Wednesday, December 15th, I'm calling this meeting of the Gardner School Building Committee to order. At this time, we do not have a quorum, and we will not until 5:30. So this meeting will remain open until 5:30, when the meeting will then commence. So we will adjourn for now and recommence at 5:30 p.m.
I'm just trying. All set.
Thank you. Subject to the law passed and signed by the governor of June 16th, 2021, this meeting of the City of Gardner School Building Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so in the following manner by watching on the City of Gardner YouTube page. No in-person attendance and members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite the best efforts, we will post this on the city's website, an audio recording or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So with that, I'll call this meeting of the Gardner Elementary School Building to order. Dr. Hammond, would you mind calling the attendance, please?
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
Mike Nicholson, Mark Pellegrino,
Here, present.
Wayne Anderson,
Present.
David Fredette. I know I already heard Earl Martin and Kathy Gogan weren't going to make it, as well as Joyce West. Jen Plavin,
Present.
Robert Schwartz,
Present.
Ron Cormier,
Present.
Christina Thomas,
Present.
Ashley Chickwin,
Present.
Robert Hankinson.
Present.
Heidi Generous told me she was not. Is Josh Cormier on? Okay, we have a quorum.
Excellent. Moving on to the approval of minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from November 17th, 2021?
So move to approve. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, Dr. Hammond, would you mind calling the roll call vote?
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
Mark Pellegrino,
Yes.
Wayne Anderson,
Yes.
Jen Plavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Ron Cormier,
Yes.
Tina Thomas,
Yes.
Ashley Chickwin,
Yes.
Robert Hankinson,
Yes.
and did I miss anybody? No, we have a vote.
Excellent. So the approval of bills and orders.
Mr. Chairman, we have the following bills, and we'll take them in one motion as we've done in the past. For Colliers, $84,040.32. Jones Winsett, $111,879.38. Bacon Construction, $3,392,996.28. And the last one we have is Allied for $525.
Excellent. Do I have a motion to approve the bills?
So move. Second.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, Dr. Hammond, would you mind calling the roll?
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
Mark Pellegrino,
Yes.
Wayne Anderson,
Yes.
Jen Plavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Ron Cormier,
Yes.
Tina Thomas,
Yes.
Ashley Chickwin,
Yes.
Robert Hankinson.
Yes.
Did I miss anybody? We have a vote.
Okay, can we have the report from the OPM, please?
All right, let me share my screen. And okay, here's our typical update of recent activity and upcoming activity, and I'll turn this over to Matt to talk to you about some of these items.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Well, one thing to say is that Marois Brothers, the site contractor, is in the process now of pulling off the job for the winter. They've gone as far as they can go. Excuse me. They're finishing up some work up on the top of the building with light pole bases and conduit for them, and a little bit of digging for the infiltration basin. But pretty much everything else is up as far as it's going to go for this season. On building A, as we know, we had a fire. No injuries, no damage worthwhile. It's already been completed and corrected at no cost to the owner. Temporary heat is on. The roofing system is now installed also where that fire did happen. Most of what's going on building A is now interior. Now that we have temporary heat and we are tight, they're doing the interior petition sheetrocking. That's going on the third floor right now. The exterior spray insulation is done on the first and second floor. And all three floors, I believe, the ceilings have been sprayed. The acoustical deck ceilings that we have in the classrooms have been sprayed. On the exterior, as it says there, the masonry is on hold until we can get resolution to the window issue. They did have window testing this past Monday, and actually it was 2 days where it was Friday and Monday. That's what it was. Friday, they prepped all the windows, but there was condensation and they couldn't test. So they did test on Monday, and 4 out of the 6 windows leaked. It is more a leak relative to the sealant around the perimeter and, enclosing the window than it is a window system issue. We only had 1 leak the last time we did it. So we have a meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock to discuss options. We think we know what it's going to be. Everybody's scratching their heads right now as to why this is happening. But unfortunately, the mason cannot continue his work until the windows are done. So that's pretty much the extent of that. Building B, they are now sheathing the west elevation. Majority of it has been framed except for the first floor. They will be following it up. They're also following it up with wood windows, and the air vapor barrier will follow that. They're starting to install windows probably tomorrow. They were prepping today. The east side of building B up on the 3rd floor that overlooks the gym area. That's where it's probably going to start. So that's good news. By the way, a bunch of glass was delivered for the curtain walls and storefront on Monday. They haven't had a chance to really go through it and see where it goes yet, but there are many crates of it out on the site. Interior wise, they finished up framing 3rd floor. There's not a whole lot of framing to go on in that building, really. It's mostly on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And that's almost complete. They're working on the boiler room, miscellaneous MEP, and that's pretty much what's roofing. This is what I didn't have on here. They are roofing the high portion of building B, which is what the classrooms are mostly. I would say by the end of today, 25% of it, maybe 30 or so, has roofing system on it. So they're continuing, taking advantage of the good weather. And then they'll drop down to the lower gym roof, cafeteria roof, not cafeteria, but the kitchen cafeteria. All right, building C, roofing system, the flat one is completed where the mechanical equipment goes. Almost all of the windows are installed in C. I think the only ones missing are 1 or 2 that are on back order, but as far as windows go, they're all in. Interior, not a whole lot is happening right now. The electrician is in there doing roughing there, but almost have the building to themselves. A little bit of upper sheet rocking is being done. Plumbing is pretty much complete, the roughing, and that's about it, really. And like it says there, site work can be shut down shortly. And they're going to maintain sheetrocking in Building A, framing, soffits, and so forth. The exterior wall spray will continue until they finish that. We will be, hopefully the masonry will start back up if we can resolve this window testing, but their option or plan B is to jump over to Building C because they're a little bit more confident that the window testing is going to pass there. They've got a different product they're going to use. Wiring, roughing is going on, and circuit breaker panels are being installed, the back boxes for that. Building B, they continue to wrap everything up tight, finish the roofs, the exterior, the vapor barrier, any framing, getting temporary heat on in there, window installation will continue. MEP will continue in there. Building C, we'll get the heat turned on, start doing sheetrock in there. Like I said, possibly do the brick work there, masonry, in lieu of Building A, and jumping into the spray insulation and the painting of the ceilings in there, as well as the continuation of electrical roughing. So the biggest glitch is right now is the windows and the things that are affected by it, which is just pretty much only the masonry, but I don't say only lightly. This is looking up the hill, gives you an idea. This is basically the slope and the not finished grade, the subgrade without paving that you will have as a final condition. So absent the blacktop on here, this is what your road would basically look like. And this is just in the northwest corner of Building A, where they graded for the parking lot. They didn't get too far with that one, but we didn't get a chance to pave because we had a frost back a few weeks ago and kind of killed any chances of getting any paving done this year. It's just a look at Building A, the way it's kind of stands at the moment. The windows that we tested are pretty much, I can't point to it, but the right half of that, yeah, starting right there, 5 or 6 windows to the right on the first floor is the area that was tested. And they're in the process right now also, while we're looking sort of at the loading dock, of backfilling in the area by the loading dock and where the transformer and emergency generator go to prepare for the pouring of the concrete, kind of the apron of the loading dock. All this is necessary to be done before they can get the transformer in, which affects getting the permanent power in. And then below is just a view up in the 3rd floor, Building B. Give an idea of the skylight and the stairwell down below, and some of the framing that's going on at that level. That's it.
All right, thanks, Matt. Any questions about recent activity or upcoming activities? If not, I can jump into a financial update. Again, here's our budget that we've been showing you and our progression through amounts invoiced. So blow this up so we can see it a little better, but at the bottom, our budget of $89.5 million, of which 33 million prior to tonight has been approved for payment. Of that 33 million, we're anticipating that about 17 million of that would be eligible for reimbursement. And then based on the district's reimbursement rate, we would have about 13.3 million that would be reimbursed to the city. So we're doing well as far as our budget goes. Next, I want to talk about some changes that are coming up. So I want to well, before we get into that, I wanted to just talk about overall contingency and where we stand before we talk about what new changes we want to incorporate. So so far we've spent about 800. Well, we have approved change orders of roughly $500,000. We have planned but not contracted almost another 500,000, and that's things that we see on site that we're just monitoring, and they may come to be change orders or not. A good chunk of this is we're going to talk about is change order 11. That's we're going to talk about tonight. But overall, we're doing well financially. We're on target construction-wise with the new application for payment that's going in today. They're about 46% billed. So that's a major milestone when they hit the 50% mark, and we have to start doing some preliminary evaluations of all the filed sub-bidders and of the general contractor. But to get back to our change order that we wanted to talk about tonight, these ones in the upper area here had been previously approved by the finance subcommittee. And I'll go through just briefly what some of these are. This 82.2 is for seismic bracing for CMU walls. It's a significant number, but it was originally higher, but it's come down through some back and forth on different techniques and how to do that, achieve that. Ceiling changes in the connector. Basically, those changes were due to mechanical, electrical, and plumbing coordination items. There's just a lack of ceiling space in those connectors, and so some modifications had to be made in order to coordinate everything. And the cost of that is $4,840. Canopy footings. This is a big one, $74,296. You'll recall that the canopy footings, there's a basis of design that's submitted, and the canopy gets designed by a subcontractor. But in the base bid drawings, we own certain footings based on those assumptions that are made during design without knowing exactly which contractor and what their design is going to be. And so what happened is the footings needed to get much larger in order to basically hold these canopies in place. Basically, they're a big sail that can catch some wind up there, and based on the wind loads, the footings that were for the base design were insufficient. They had to be much larger. So the cost in doing that is $74,296. Changes to the metal panels in the cafeteria. We talked about whether they had whether they were perforated or not, and the multicolors and those changes equated to a change of $14,706. Piping soffit, again, this is one of those ones where there's coordination items just making sure that the piping fits above the ceilings, and sometimes you need to extend a soffit or change a ceiling height. The cost of this one is $3,026. And it was approved at a little bit higher of a not to exceed $33.65. Like the footings were approved at a not to exceed $87.33. So both of those had come down a little bit. And same with this extending the gas piping. That has come in now at $3,877, where it was originally just under $5,000. But that was to have the piping go into the building, have 1 meter, and then come back and feed the generator. We had some modifications to some sinks. I think it was really some well, in the B wing, $4,507.
Was
The
that the
gym-
nurse's office, the nurse's office? Was that something like that? Tim?
Yeah, I think that is where it
Yes.
was. I'm not sure. Is that where it was, Matt?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're right, Steve. That's where that was. Then we have the wall padding modifications. That was a big one, but there was a lot of back and forth about where to go and the scope increase. So that's 132,407.
Tim, we should say that's for how many calming, and maybe Wayne knows the number. That was for calming rooms, and I think there's I forget how many there were.
That is 6.
6, okay.
Yeah, originally we didn't have it on the doors, and I don't think we had it on 6 rooms. There may have only been 5 rooms. But that's been working with Wayne and going back and forth with different suppliers, and so this one was approved on the 1st. Conceal the C-wing corner ducts. So again, coordination items, 3,212. This adding board insulation at the parapet instead of a mineral wool gives it something a little bit, basically a redesign of how to build those parapet walls. You couldn't use the mineral wool. It wasn't a solid surface to be able to anchor your cladding to. The cost on that is $15,806. Consistent height at roof edge. This one actually, we got approval of 6,893. It has gone up to 7,003 based on the contractor taking a closer look at it and some back and forth. And so we want to make sure we get approval at this amount tonight. And then site flatwork concrete. This was to go with a basically a stronger strength concrete on the site sidewalk areas. $5,122. We had gotten approval of it not to exceed 8,000, so it came in less than that.
And Tim,
there's a couple-
Tim, before you go on, if I can interrupt for a second, back to 186, the consistent height of the roof edge metal. This goes to show you that what we're up against with contractors being so desperate for money is that they actually went out of their way to change it by $103, that it meant so much to them that they couldn't just absorb it and be big boys about it. So people are going after, just don't want to reiterate that they're going after every nickel they can get. And this is an example of it. Any other contractor in the older days would have, 2 years ago.
Doing the paperwork isn't
Could've
worth
absorbed
the
it.
cost. Yeah,
But this is what we're dealing with.
it's a legitimate cost, so you can't really push
Yes,
back. It's
yes.
just kind of feel like sometimes it's nickel dime. But 197, expansion joint support. So this is really where the detail just showed 2 expansion joints up against one another really, and you need what you really need is you need expansion joint in between 2 solid surfaces. So there's a change in the detail that was necessary in the C-wing, and the cost for that is $2,992. And then item 198 that came up just recently was we have a number of bollards around where the electrical transformer is going, and the generator over by the loading dock. They're galvanized, but National Grid is making us do it their way, and they want to have these plastic sleeves over the top of the bollards, or paint them yellow. And it makes no sense to paint galvanized. The paint just peels right off. So to put these plastic covers over the bollards is $801. And there's one that's not here, and it's important that we talk about it. I want to get approval on this. It's having to do with winter conditions and doing work in order to get our transformer installed by National Grid. we need to get our permanent power as quickly as we can. In order to get that permanent power, we need to have the concrete work done around in the loading dock in that area. And at this time, we need to provide some supplemental work and equipment to be able to do that in those weather conditions. Is heating the ground with a glycol loop before the concrete is placed, make sure there's no frost in it. You cover it with blankets. After the concrete is poured, you similar work that has to happen. The contractor has put in their cost on this for, renting that equipment for a couple of weeks. If we don't need it for a couple of weeks, we could see a reduction of this cost. But the cost is $10,607. And it's one of those items that is frustrating, but I feel we have to do this in order to make sure that we're ready to get that permanent power on as quickly as we can. So I would like to get approval on that, as well as the other items that we talked about that were shown on change order 11.
Mr. Chairman, could I suggest that the two additional items, that 2,992 and the 801 become part of change order 11, and that would change the total to 374, 391, and then the total would change on the budget would be 63,533,041.03. And what Tim asked to do, if the committee could then approve that, and that can be put into another change order, where we can say to the contractor, it has been approved.
Do I hear a motion to accept this with the changes that were just recommended by Dr. Hemmond?
So moved.
Thank you. Second, somebody?
I'll
Thank you.
second.
Excellent. Any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing no discussion, let's put the matter to a roll call vote. Dr. Hemmond, please.
Mark Hawk,
Yes.
Mark Pellegrino,
Yes.
Wayne Anderson,
Yes.
Jennifer Plavin,
Yes.
Bob Schwartz,
Yes.
Ron Cormier,
Yes.
Tina Thomas,
Yes.
Ashley Chickwin,
Yes.
Robert Hankinson.
Yes.
We have a vote.
Excellent. So are there any other updates? Or hopefully no more change orders, but any more updates?
No, that's really all we had.
Excellent. Okay, and do we have Christian here for a report from the architects?
No, they're at their Christmas party tonight.
Oh, and we weren't invited, so, okay.
That's
So,
what I said to him. He said, tough luck.
Oh.
I don't know, an architect's Christmas party, maybe it'd be fun. I don't know. All right, moving on. If there's no architects, any old business or new business or other business to come before the committee?
Nope.
Do we have any members of the public who wish to be heard? All right, seeing no members of the public, our next meeting date is on January 19th, 2022. No reason for executive session. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Excellent. And I heard a second there. Great.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are officially adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.
Want to thank everybody for adjusting your time to 5:30, so we accommodated everything we needed to do. So thank you again.
Thank you all.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Enjoy your
Have a-
holiday, everybody.
Have a great holiday, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.